Hello and welcome to Rathods IAS Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 23rd December 2025. Before getting started, first of all let us see the important topics of the day. First article it is about India New Zealand conclude trade talks. Recently India had made free trade agreement with Oman, and one more country with which we concluded trade talks is with New Zealand. So here how can you expect a question? If you see your PYQs, there was a question regarding this free trade agreements. You may get directly a question regarding consider the following statements regarding free trade agreements, and they'll give you 2 to 3 statements, and they may ask you which of the above statements are right or incorrect. That is the first way. And next, recently India and Oman had signed this trade agreement, and even now India and New Zealand. So they may give you a question in this way. Consider the following pairs. On one side, they will be giving you the country, or else you may get this kind of question also: with which of the following countries India concluded free trade agreement. So like that you have to make a note of with which countries India signed free trade agreement so far. That is a one possible question. So whenever you are doing this kind of questions, you have to see the PYQs, and in that PYQs, whatever the countries they gave, the same countries may be given now also, but they will add the new countries in that question. So here in that way you have to analyze your PYQs carefully. Okay, so here in this topic, you may get two types of questions that you have to be get ready. And this topic is important from international relations and as well as from GS paper 3. Or else, one more kind of question you can say is, consider the following statements regarding New Zealand. And they'll give you map-based question also. So in this way, you have to see 3 areas from this single topic. And next topic is core sector grew at 1.8% in November, says Center. So here this article is talking about core sector. Already UPSC asked question regarding which of the following sectors comes under core sector. Again, you can also get the same kind of question because in this November month, there is increasing of performance of core sector. And this topic is important from economy from GS paper 3. And next topic is Niti Aayog proposes $10 billion research fund scholarships to globalize higher education. So here in this article, you have to see about what are the challenges we face in our higher education. And next you have to see how this proposal is going to help our higher education and exactly what we are going to do with this fund of $10 billion. And this topic is important from education from governance point of view from GS paper 2. And next topic is setup. So this article is talking about CSR, corporate social responsibility. Why the CSR is in news? Any idea? We discussed, I think, 1 day or 2 days ago about the CSR. Why it is in news? Recently, we discussed about Great Indian Bustard article. Yes, in that Great Indian Bustard article, Supreme Court gave a judgment of increasing of corporate social responsibility. So whatever the power industries which are there in that area, and as you all know that Great Indian Bustards are dying because of electrocution. On that day I said how you can get question also regarding these 3 bird species which are there in news. Right. So what we discussed in that class, Supreme Court expanded the definition of corporate social responsibility, right? So again, there is one editorial today regarding that corporate social responsibility. And in 2024, UPSC asked a question in your prelims in CSR. And this year also there is a very, very high chance of getting question regarding CSR. You have to practice maximum number of questions regarding this CSR this year. And next one is right to disconnect, drawing the line after work. As you all know that recently in our parliament, a private member bill had been introduced. That private member bill is about right to disconnect. So there is also a high chance of getting question. And mostly you have to see what is this private member bill is about. And UPSC asked question already regarding this private member bill in your UPSC prelims. So again, there is a very high chance because it is a very, very important bill that had been introduced by a woman member of parliament in parliament now. So here you have to say about what is this private member bill. They may give like consider the following statements regarding private member bill, and they will give you the statements. And second type of question you can get is they'll give you pairs, like which of the above pairs are passed or not passed or introduced by this private members. Like that also you have to make a list of private member bill which had been introduced in parliament in this year. In that one is right to disconnect bill. Okay, have you understood? So in that way, you have to make your notes from current affairs. And this topic is very important from your polity. And next one here is on right to a healthy environment. And this article is talking about healthy environment, how can we maintain. And in the recent days, we are discussing lots of articles regarding air pollution in Delhi, air quality index, graded response action plan. And yesterday's class also we discussed how China tackled this air pollution, how it reduced drastically this PM 2.5 levels in China, right? In the same way, now once again, one more article is talking about on right to a healthy environment. Here you have to see which articles of our constitution support in this right to healthy environment for humans. And this topic is important from your environmental ecology. And whenever you're talking about fundamental rights, that also comes under your GS paper 2 under polity. So these all are the topics that we are going to see. And at last, I'm going to give you prelims practice questions. Okay, let us see the first article. Title says about India, New Zealand conclude trade talks. Why it is in news? And here if you see, in our earlier class also I said about our prime minister, he visited, there is a visit to this New Zealand and you have to see the map of New Zealand. At the last, I'll be giving you a question, practice question on this New Zealand map so that you can understand exactly how you can expect a question regarding that map from that so and so area. So here, India and New Zealand concluded discussions on free trade agreement, and it will give India tariff-free access to island nations market. That means we are going to have trade which is having zero barriers now with this New Zealand, and we are going to increase investments, and even with this agreement we are going to increase our bilateral trade with this New Zealand as well. And the aim here is we have to have the trade around $5 billion by the next 5 years. By the next 5 years, the trade between India and New Zealand will be around $5 billion because of this trade agreement which had been signed between India and New Zealand. Okay, if you say about this bilateral trade, as of 2024, just it is US dollars 2.4 billion, and we are going to have the aim of reaching this $5 billion. And next, we have to say about which are the products that will export from India to New Zealand. Very, very important. So here we are going for merchandise products, especially pharmaceuticals are going to New Zealand from India, and even forestry and as well as agriculture products will get from New Zealand. So this is about important trade here. And next, okay, let us see here. Here in this paragraph, I gave you clearly what are the items which are exporting to New Zealand. Primarily, we have pharmaceuticals, textiles, apparels, engineering goods, leather, footwear, marine products, and various manufactured items. So here, what you have to see is in news, our prime minister, our external affairs ministers, and other important delegates are going to different countries. So here you have to make a note like what are the important things that will be talked in this kind of meetings. And next you have to see India is exporting which kind of goods to which countries, and India is importing which goods from which countries. There is a high chance of getting question regarding this exports and imports of India. With which countries you are having trade surplus, with which countries you are having trade deficit, and what are the reasons for this trade deficit? Because in the recent past we are seeing lots of articles regarding India's trade deficit, right? And even we saw like recently we are decreasing imports so that the trade deficit had been decreased to some extent. So why we are decreasing our imports and which kind of imports we are decreasing now? So like that you will be getting a question in your prelims regarding this imports and exports of India. Okay. And next from New Zealand, what we are getting? New Zealand is famous for this kiwi fruit and apples. And next one is forestry products, agriculture goods, dairy-based products, wool, coal, fisheries, wine, horticulture items like cherries, avocados, honey, and travel services. So New Zealand is famous for products. So here from New Zealand, you are getting this kiwi fruits, apples, cherries, and as well as avocados. And apart from that, we are getting dairy based products, wool, coal, and honey, and even travel services we are getting. So these are the things that we are trading between India and New Zealand. Okay, and let us see about this key provisions of this free trade agreement between India and New Zealand. So first one here is tariff reduction. It eliminates 95% of New Zealand exports to India, which are duty free immediately. India also get zero duty access for all exports. For all exports of India, New Zealand is providing 0% tariff. But India is providing 0% tariff for 95% of New Zealand exports. And this one is regarding agriculture and dairy. Duty-free quotas for kiwi fruit, preferential access for apples and honey, and phased tariff cuts for wine and as well as cherries, etc. So here regarding agriculture and dairy, we are going for duty-free quota for this kiwi fruit. From now onwards, the kiwi fruit, what is the cost of this kiwi fruit in India? For 100 rupees, we'll get 3 or 4. 3 or 4. So from now onwards, if the duty is 0, means the kiwi fruit cost will be obviously decreased in our country. And kiwi fruit is very rich in vitamin C and will be acting as antioxidants. So you can take daily one kiwi fruit from now onwards, so that here you can maintain even good body health also. And next one is regarding services and mobility. We are covering fintech companies, electronic payments, visas up to 1,667 skilled workers annually. Now here in this article they are saying that around 5,000 worker visas we are going to get now for Indians who wants to work in this New Zealand. Okay, so these are the things, guys. And what is the impact of this agreement? Obviously, we can improve our exports. Especially in this agreement, they are focusing on labor sector products, especially textiles, industries, manufacturing. We can boost our employment opportunities as well, and even we can improve our exports to this country. And next one here is we can reduce our import cost. And next one here is job creation can happen in the service sector, not only even in this manufacturing sector. And obviously we can have a long-term growth if we are having good kind of relations with this New Zealand. And here what you have to see is you have to see map of New Zealand. In New Zealand we have two island groups. Two island groups together is called as New Zealand. We have North Island and as well as South Island. So you have to see the details regarding this North Island and South Island. I'll show you a map. And I'll tell you how you have to study maps. Okay, can you see this map? It is not that much clear. Okay, this is map of New Zealand. Just see. So here one island we have, and here we have another island. So this is called as North Island and this is called as South Island. So you can see water bodies which are there on the both the sides. Here we have Tasman Sea and here we have Pacific Ocean. And here we have a small channel of water which is connecting this Tasman Sea and Pacific Ocean. This small channel is called as a strait. Strait is nothing but small channel of water that will be connecting two large water bodies, right? So here we have one strait called as Cook Strait, okay? And you have to see like important like mountains which are there here. You have to see even the physical map of New Zealand. On that also UPSC can ask a question. Okay, now let us see the next article. See the title, core sector grew at 1.8% in November, says Center. So what is the keyword here? Keyword is core sector. So how many core sectors we have? 8 core sectors. What is the mnemonic? FERNS, ferns, 3C. Ferns, 3C is a mnemonic. We can easily remember this core sectors. F for fertilizer, A for electricity, R for refineries, N for natural gas, S for steel. One is coal, next one is cement, and next one is crude oil. So these are the 8 important core sectors in our country. And this article is saying that core sectors grew at 1.8% in month of November. So in these 8 sectors also, all these 8 are not working good, but 4 are working good. Because of that, now in the month of November, it is recorded around 1.8% of growth. So what exactly you have to see is, you have to see certain facts regarding this core sector, because already UPSC asked question on that. So UPSC can change the format of question and they may ask question. Okay, For example, earlier UPSC asked question in this way. Consider the following sectors, which of the above comes under core sector. Very simple question. If you remember this mnemonic, you can do this. But now UPSC question patterns had been changed from 2023, right? They introduced new kinds of patterns. They'll give you statements regarding the core sectors and they may ask you how many statements are correct. That is a one way. And this one is they may give three statements and they may ask that one statement is correct, statement two and statement three, or explaining statement one. And statement one is correct. In this statement two and three, only one statement is explaining statement one. Statement one is correct, statement two or three, one is wrong. Like that, UPSC is changing the pattern of asking questions. So here they may not give directly the earlier PYQ, but sometimes they will change the pattern of this question. They may ask in other patterns. And even we have assertion reason based questions, right? So they may ask in that way. So you have to know clear cut about this core sector. Okay. Yeah, now let us see the context. India's 8 core infrastructure sectors recorded a year-on growth, and now it is recorded around 1.8% in month of November. Who released this data? Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So here you may get a small question like, which of the following ministry releases core sector data? They'll give you Ministry of Industry, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Home Affairs. In that way also you can get simple questions in your UPSC. Don't think that you will be getting only tough questions. Even UPSC can ask very simple questions also. So here by observation, whenever you're reading your current affairs, or whenever you're seeing your newspaper articles, or whenever you're watching news, you have to know that person who is announcing that. If you know that person, which ministry he belongs to, like that, you can answer that kind of questions. Even observation is very helpful to clear your UPSC prelims case. Okay, so here who will be releasing this? Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay, as I said, we have 8 sectors: coal, crude oil, natural gas, refineries, fertilizers, steel, cement and electricity. And UPSC already asked one more type of question, is which of the following will be like more contributing to this core sector. So again, I gave you the weights. The first important contribution of this core sector is from refineries. Refineries having highest proportion in this core sector. After that we have electricity. After that we have steel. After that coal. After that crude oil, natural gas, cement and fertilizer. So UPSC can also ask this kind of question, like consider the following sectors of the core sector and arrange them in ascending order and descending order. Ascending means small to big, descending means big to small. Do you know this, right? So in that way also they may be asking this question based on this weights. Okay, which sector is contributing how much? Okay, you have to think in that way as well. And next, if you see this sector-wise growth in November 2025, no need of remembering these numbers, just for your knowledge. Cement, steel, fertilizer, coal. So these 4 are contributing positive. Can you see this plus symbol? Positive growth. And here remaining 4, refinery products, electricity, natural gas and crude oil, they are having negative growth. Only this top 4 are having positive and bottom 4 is having negative growth. But overall it is around 1.8% of growth. Okay, now you have to see the reasons why this coal, fertilizer, steel and cement are having this positive growth. Okay, on that also you may get mains based question. Okay, if you say about the reasons for the performance, so positive drivers are because of revival of our construction sector now, and as well as infrastructure activities after this festive season, and government push on roads, housing and capital expenditure. So because of this increasing of capital expenditure, what is this capital expenditure is about? Government wants to create capital. That means government is focusing on improving of infrastructure in the country. For example, government can promote any housing activities. For example, we have Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Gramin and as well as urban. So government is going for improving of number of houses. And next one here is, for example, government has sanctioned any highway or any roads or any railway project or any developmental projects. Obviously, if we want to go for developmental activities, we need more of coal and as well as more of cement, everything. So because of this, these sectors now are having the positive growth because of this roads, housing and capital expenditure. And what are the negative things? Normally what we are doing here is we are importing less. As you all know that From Russia, we are getting around 40% of crude oil earlier. But because of this Russian Sanction Act, last month what we discussed, we reduced that by 38%. We are importing very less oil from this Russia. And now we are diverted towards this West Asia to get our oil. If you're not getting this crude oil, can we produce petrol, diesel, etc.? No. So because of this, what is happening now? Crude oil and as well as natural gas and electricity sector, they are having contraction because of global oil dynamics and as well as domestic production challenges. Okay, so that is the thing, is nothing more than that. And what is the impacts here? Obviously, if you take overall this core sector, we are having a positive growth of 1.8%. That means, yes, it is showing a certain signs of industrial momentum in our country. And especially cement and as well as steel indicates that we are going to have sustainable infrastructure development. We are going for development of infrastructure in our country. And obviously, what happens if you want to go for building of any house, we need a labor, so that we can also create certain employment opportunities or increasing of jobs. And next one here is, yeah, it will lead to the broader growth of our economy, and even we can understand that there will be rapid industrial growth in our country as well. Okay, but here some sectors are not doing good. Only four sectors are doing good, and other four sectors are not doing good. Is that good for our economy if some are doing well and if some are not doing well? So here government has to take certain steps to promote the sectors which are not doing well. So we need policy relevances. So we have to identify weak areas in that, why that sectors are not doing good, and we have to focus on certain sectors where they are doing bad. And in the long term, obviously it will lead to this industrial expansion, and even now government has to interfere and as well as RBI has to interfere, so that we can focus on good economic growth of our country. And say this article, guys, Niti Aayog proposes $10 billion research fund, scholarships to globalize higher education. Okay, recently Niti Aayog released a report. Okay, so first of all, the keyword here is higher education, first keyword. Second one is Niti Aayog. So where will you study about this Niti Aayog? In your economy. So what is Niti Aayog is about? Earlier, as soon as we got independence for the development of our country, we came up with establishment of planning commission. And this planning commission will be decide about this 5-year plans. In 5 years, what we have to do, what should be the priority areas, everything that you know about this planning commissions. But after this Modi came into power in 2014, he scrapped that planning commission, and India government came up with this Niti Aayog, and it came into effect from January 1st, which year? 2015. And actually there are lots of changes with this lots of differences between this planning commission as well as Niti Aayog. So Niti Aayog will be focusing on bottom to top approach, right? So here now Niti Aayog came up with a report, and this report is saying that there are lots of problems in our higher education. Okay, can you tell me what are the problems in our higher education? Already you done with your graduation, some did even post graduation, no? So tell me guys, what problems that you have observed in higher education in India? Why many of them they are not getting jobs, and even many of them they are going to other countries to pursue their higher education rather than completion of their education in India. What might be the reasons? First one is the syllabus is outdated syllabus. We are not aligned with this new technology. Yes, right? And next one here is whatever the curriculum we have, we are focusing on even rote learning in this higher education. And we are not focusing on the practical skills which is required for the students. And next one here is there is no proper training for the faculty in this higher education. And even if you see the faculty, they're outdated faculty. We are not getting this faculty from the foreign countries. Yes or no? And this one is after completion of this graduation also, many of them, they are not getting the jobs. Why? Because of skill mismatch. And even what is happening here, actually what skills which are required for the industries, they are not taught in our classes. So because of this, the time is getting wasted. And even after once you complete your graduation also, if you want to get software job, again you have to go outside, and again you have to join some other institutes, and you have to learn certain languages like C plus Java, .NET, like that, and you have to again search your job on your own. And next one here, this article mainly said is Many of our Indians, they are going to other countries to pursue their higher education rather than in India. That means there is something which is missing in our country. So because of the students are going other countries. And if you see in our country, we are also providing education visas for the other students, other country students. For example, Nepalis, Bhutanis, they can come and they can study in India. But if one are coming to India from other countries, there are 28 members in India, they're going out. That means mostly what is happening here, especially human capital drain is happening in India. So to avoid that, now government came up with this creation of this fund, guys, to stop this brain drain from India. Especially students should not go outside India. So what students want, we are going to come up that kind of changes in our higher education through this fund. That is this article is about. So here, what can you see here, how can the question can appear in this UPSC is, what are the challenges faced in higher education? To counter those challenges, what kind of steps government took? So in that measures, you have to add this article. Okay, clear, guys? So if you see the context, it says that Niti Aayog released a report, and the title of this report is Internationalization of Higher Education in India, Prospects, Potential, Policy and Recommendations. So this is the name of that report of Niti Aayog. And this report is saying around 22 policy changes we have to make so that we can balance this student mobility and as well as position of India in higher education hub by 2047. And the important aim of this report is by 2047, that is by the 100 years of we got independence, we have to make India as a global hub. We have to attract students from the different countries, and we have to stop our Indians to go out of India to pursue education, higher education. Okay, that is about this target. Okay, if you see about the details, to do all these things, now government came up with this fund, and the name of that fund is Bharat Vidya Kosh. Please make a note. You may get a question. Recently, Bharat Vidya Kosh is in news. Consider the following statements regarding that. So you have to know what this fund is about, in which areas we are going to use. Are you understanding how the question can be asked? And the same point you can use as a value addition in your mains answer. Like what measures government is taking. Example, government created Bharat Vidya Kosh to boost research and attract international talent. Like that. So what are the articles you are reading in current affairs? You have to prepare from both prelims and as well as mains. Okay, and you have to be very sharp. Whatever the knowledge you are gaining in these classes, you have to use here or other way. So you have to learn how to use your knowledge rather than gaining more knowledge. What are the things that you are studying in your classes? Try to use where it is possible. Okay, so first one here is government is establishing $10 billion fund for increasing of research and as well as to attract international talent. That is the first one. And next one is it aligns with our National Education Policy 2020. So in this National Education Policy, we are focusing on internationalization at home so that we can enhance India's soft power through education. So if you are providing this kind of fund, if you are attracting more students, obviously India can improve its soft power. And next one here is, as per 2024 data, around 13.35 lakh Indian students have studied abroad, making India the world's largest source of international students. That means India is becoming the source for students to study in other countries. As per 2024 data, around 13.35 lakh students are there who are studying out of India. And where they are going, so please make a note. Top destinations for Indians for studying of higher education is Canada. First place is Canada, second one is US, third one is UK, fourth one is Australia, and fifth one is Germany. They may ask you in your prelims. Okay, because Niti Aayog itself came up with this report, and Niti Aayog itself is saying that around 13.5 lakh students are going abroad to study. That means you have to know which locations they are going, right? UPSC can ask a question on this. Okay, Canada, US, UK, Australia, Germany. And if you see the ratio, for every one foreign students who is coming to India, around 28 Indian students are going outside. So that is a tragedy of India. So you can understand what type of problems you are facing in this higher education in India, in which situation India is related to this higher education. And what are the key proposals and recommendations here? The first one here is Bharat Vidya Kosh, and we are going to develop one $10 billion research fund. And next one here is Vishwa Bandhu scholarship. We are going to give even in scholarship for international students in 2 years master programs. Okay, now we want to attract these foreign students into our country, and we have to tap their energy. So here, for that, government is providing scholarship for these international students in their 2-year masters. After completion of graduation, they will do masters, right? So here, for this master course, they will be giving tuition fees, stipends, research grants, accommodation, everything like that. And this one is to attract this foreign faculty and research talent. Here, our government is coming up with Vishwa Bandhu for fellowship. If foreign countries faculty are coming to India, obviously we can improve the standards of our country, right? So for that, we are coming up with this Vishwa Bandhu fellowship. And next one is Erasmus like programs for students and as well as faculty exchange mobility. We can exchange faculty and as well as students between the universities of different countries. And next one is campus models. We are going to allow foreign institutions to set up campus within a campus. In our India's higher education systems, in that campus only, we are going to allow these foreign countries to set up their own campus so that we can promote this foreign education in India. And next one is we can simplify the visas, reduce documentation for inbound or outbound mobility and non-binding frameworks in this education so that we can attract more number of students who can come to India. And next one here is we are also going for globalization partnerships and outreach and inclusivity with other countries. And we can also going for Bharat Ki Aan, where the alumni ambassador network leveraging Indian diaspora alumni as promoters. So here, for example, if in other countries, whoever are Indian alumni who completed their courses, so we can use them and we can make them brand ambassadors for our colleges and we can promote them in other countries. And next one is we can update our curriculum. That is one important problem. And even branding and outreach, we are going to do that now. And interministerial task forces, we can come up with a new type of strategies between different institutions, especially higher education in India, guys. So these are the main proposals which are mainly set by this Niti Aayog that they are going to implement in higher education so that we can become a global hub by 2047. Okay, what are the impacts of this fund? First one is we can improve the research and technology. And next one here is we can increase mobility of students and as well as faculty between the countries. And we can have the tough competitiveness with other countries by increasing our standards, curriculum, everything. And next one is it can also have some economic benefits like we can reduce our brain drain. So we can keep our Indian master brains in India itself so that obviously that will be helpful for our overall development of a country. And this one is, yeah, we can control the spending on education, job creation can happen, and even institutional growth can happen with collaborations, diaspora, everything. And this one is obvious, it can be helpful for improving of our soft power in international arena. So these are the some important things, and for sure you may get mains or prelims based question from this area, this article, very important. Okay, see this next article, guys. CSR. Step up CSR as corporate obligation can support cost of restoring grasslands. On December 19th, Supreme Court gave a judgment. So what is judgment? Whatever the judgment which gave earlier by Supreme Court, which had been overturned in this 2025 on this December 19th judgment. So earlier what Supreme Court said, what are the overhead electric lines are there, everything we have to go and we have to do for this underground itself so that we can save this bird species called as Great Indian Bustard. So here from this article, you can get a question regarding Great Indian Bustard. You can get a question regarding the CSR. So these two areas you have to focus. And UPSC asked already questions on these two areas. But even though there is a chance, so here how you can get a question regarding this Great Indian Bustard is, consider the following statements regarding Great Indian Bustard. In that they can tell about reasons for the cause of death of these animals, or else they may ask about sites list where it is protected, and even IUCN red list status you can get. And even they can ask one more question. This Great Indian Bustard is not only seen in India but even in Pakistan. In which of the following countries we can see this Great Indian Bustard? That is the second type of question you can get. And third type of question is, nowadays many bird species are there in use. For example, vulture is there, Great Indian Bustard is there, penguin is there. So what are the reasons for this death? There will be like a pair based question. On one side animal, birds, on one side what are the reasons for this death. So in these three ways, you can expect a question in your prelims. You have to be very much careful. Okay. Yeah, now let us see the context. Supreme Court of India has ruled that corporate social responsibility must inherently include environment and ecology. And what are the power industries which are located in the state of Rajasthan, they have to spend their CSR, that is corporate social responsibility fund, for protection of this entire ecosystem and grasslands of this Rajasthan, so that we can protect this great Indian bustard bird. So that is a thing which mainly said by this article. And here this article is saying that yes, here CSR, it is not just a charity, it is a fundamental duty under article 51 AG. That means you can also get a question regarding fundamental duties. If you see this PYQs of polity, many a times UPSC asks question on fundamental rights, duties and DPSP. They will be giving interconnection or interlinking between rights and duties, and even they will mingle with this fundamental duties with this fundamental rights, and they may give the question. DPSP with this fundamental duties, they will mingle and they will give you the question. So you have to be very much careful. And 2025 also, there is one question regarding fundamental duties, DPSP and rights. I showed you that, right? In the same way, again, Supreme Court said that it is a part of fundamental duty. That means you may get question regarding this fundamental duties. So they'll give you, consider the following statements regarding fundamental duties, and they will give you certain statements. Or else they'll give you, consider the following fundamental duties and tell me which of the above are fundamental duties only. So in that way you can get a question. You have to be very much careful. Okay, now let us see the details of this corporate social responsibilities. Already I discussed, I think so, in earlier class. Corporate social responsibility is nothing but it is the responsibility of these companies. Why the responsibility of these companies? Whenever we are setting up of any industry, obviously we'll release lots of pollution, pollutants into air, water, whatever it may be. So because of this, what happens? That will lead to problem for our environment and ecology. Now, Supreme Court said that it is the fundamental duty of the companies. They have to take certain amount of fund and they have to do certain social activities. That kind of fund is called as CSR, corporate social responsibility. And they can do social work or environment related works and ethical concerns, etc. And actually, when we launched this in year 2013 through Companies Act of 2013. And what is eligibility criteria? So which companies has to spend this CSR? The net worth of that company should be around 500 crore, and turnover should be like 1000 crore, and net profit is 5 crore, and they have to spend at least 2% of average of last 3 years. From last 3 years, how much profit they are getting? So they have to take the average of that 3 years and they have to spend that money as CSR. Okay. So mandatory spending minimum 2%, and we have a broad board level committee to plan, and they will be monitoring the CSR policy. Okay, that's it. And significance is it will be helpful for sustainable development, environment protection, social justice, and we can create accountability of these corporates. And this one is we can also implement fundamental duties through this CSR. So these are the importance of this CSR. And there is one article, guys. It is about right to disconnect, drawing the line after work. So what is happening here? Whenever you are doing any private job, for example, IT sector job. So what will be the timings? 9 to 5 or 6? Okay, let us take the timings will be 9 to 5 or 6. After that also, now because of this increasing of social media, increasing of using of internet, everything. So even after your working hours also, sometimes you have to take calls. You have to give reply to the mails. And sometimes if you're not answering calls also, sometimes you will be getting scoldings from your team leader or HR, why didn't you answer that call, like that. And even nowadays, what happened due to this COVID-19 pandemic, work from home tradition has been increased. And in this work from home, whenever you are logging into your portal from 9 o'clock, at 9 o'clock exactly, even it is night 8, 9, 10 also, sometimes your work will be not getting ended. That means you're working certain hours beyond your working hours. And even though sometimes you will not get the pay for that extra hours that you're working. So because of this, what is happening here? There is increasing of psychological stress and mental illness. Everything is happening, and even work efficiency will be obviously decreased. Yes or no? So because of this, now what happened here is our our MP. not a minister, introduced a bill. So in the bills we have government bills and private bills. Government bills are nothing but the ministers, whenever they are introducing any bill in the parliament, that is called as government bills. Private bills are nothing but not a minister but MP. If they are introducing any bill, that comes under private bills. But there is a very less chance of becoming this private member bills into act because of lack of support. So this is also one private member bill which had been introduced in parliament, but unfortunately this bill had not passed in this winter session, guys. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said here. Just see about this, what is this right to disconnect? So if you see about this right to disconnect, it is a legal protection allowing the workers to disconnect from their work and ignore work related electronic communications during non-work hours. It is based on Article 24 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And everyone has a right to rest and as well as leisure. And they will be working for only reasonable limiting of hours. That is the thing which mainly said here. So why we need to have this right to disconnect? Because of increasing of work related stress. If you're from IT sector, you will be experiencing that stress, how much it will be. And next one here is exhaustion can be happen. Sometimes we will not get proper sleep if you are having continuous high screen time. And next one here is productivity decline will also happen, and even socio-psychological impacts can also happens here. It will have impact on the social relationship, work-life balance, everything. And even our constitutional rights are also getting violated. So which rights are getting violated? Article 21, Article 39 and Article 42. So here you may get a question, right to disconnect, which will uphold which constitutional rights. Article 21 talks about right to life and personal liberty. You know that well, very well. And on this Article 21, I think 3 to 4 times UPSC asked question in your prelims. You have to know about that. And this one is Article 39E talks about state to ensure health and strength of workers are not abused. And Article 42 talks about state responsibility to ensure just and humane working conditions. So these articles in our constitution are getting violated because of attending of calls, attending of mails, and even extra overburdened work like that. Okay, and here you may get one more question. Recently in 2024, Australia passed this law. But the first country to pass this law is France. So you have to make a list of which countries passed this law of right to disconnect. Okay, because you may get a question on this. First country is France and recent country is Australia. And between which countries made this law? Please make a note of that. And next one here is on the right to healthy environment. So this article is talking about right to healthy environment, and Supreme Court said that right to clean environment is a fundamental right under Article 21. So here just see about what are the pollutants, what are the reasons for this pollution in metropolitan cities, and next what are the impacts. Many a times we discuss this article. Okay, just make a note of that. And now see the questions, guys. See questions carefully. Okay, first one, can you see? Online students, tell me the answer in the comment box. With reference to corporate social responsibility in India, consider the following statements. Okay, it is about corporate social responsibility. See the statements. First one is activities undertaken in normal course of business of company or those exclusively benefiting its employees are considered valid CSR activities. What is the extreme word you can see? Exclusively, drastically, suddenly. So those kind of words will be like extreme words that I said in our prelims classes, no? So here like that you have to identify exclusively, drastically, like that. See the second statement, eligible companies are required to spend at least 2% of their average net profits of preceding 3 years on CSR activities. Right or wrong? Come on, think. Think. First statement is for sure wrong. Okay, you can eliminate this A and C. And now actually this is a general statement. It is saying that required, it is should, must, they are not using, right? It is required to spend 2% of their average profits from last 3 years. Yes, B is the right answer. 2 only statement is the right. See the next. I'm changing certain formats of questions. So see here, this question is also based on CSR only. But if they may give this assertion reason type of question, they will give in this format. You have to practice that also, right? Now say the second one, assertion and reason. Assertion says corporate social responsibility spending in India is mandatory for certain companies. India is the first country to legally mandate CSR through the Companies Act 2013. Whether this assertion is right or wrong? Yes or no? So if it gave for all means all companies, did it said all companies has to spend the CSR? Only the companies which are having this so and so net worth and as well as turnout and profit, they should implement, not all companies. So here this statement is right. If in this place of certain, if there is all, then that statement will be like wrong. Are you understanding? So small changes in the statements will confuse you. You should be very careful while reading the statements of prelims. Okay. And so the next one, India is the first country to legally mandate CSR through the Companies Act. It is also right. And because of this, it is making legally that because of this act only, now this CSR should be spent by the companies. So assertion, reason, both are right. And this reason is correct explanation of A. Option A is the right answer. Are you understanding? Okay, see this next question. With reference to right to disconnect bill, consider the following statements. Read out. Online students, please post your answer in the comment box. First statement is it has been enacted into law and mandates all employers to pay overtime for any work assigned beyond official hours. Is it a general statement or extreme statement? All employers. Next one is it is a private member bill introduced in Lok Sabha to provide employees the right to ignore work-related communications outside working hours without facing adverse consequences. So what is the answer again? B, 2 only. Okay, see this last question. You will be getting this kind of map-based questions. Consider the following pairs. Locations in New Zealand and features. They are giving on one side locations, on one side features. Cook Strait separates North Island and South Island. I showed you a map. We have North Island and South Island. It is mainly divided by a small strait called as Cook Strait, which is connecting Tasman Sea and Pacific Ocean. I showed you that, right? So whether this first pair is right or wrong, Cook Strait separates North Island and South Island. Next one is Auckland, largest city located on South Island. Next one is Southern Alps, major mountain range on North Island. Wellington, capital city at southern tip of North Island. So here the name itself is saying Southern Alps. Here they are saying that North Island. How can it match? Are you understanding? Just use some basic common sense. Even if you don't know that, you have to come up with this 50-50 chances at any cost. So this is right. You know this one. And this third is wrong. Okay, now you came to this 50-50% chances. Yes or no? In that way, when you are coming up with this 50-50% chances, the chance of clearing this exam will be more. Okay, and actually, Auckland is largest city located in the North Island, not in this South Island. So answer here is 1 and 4. A is the right answer. So like that, you have to do certain basic observations, basic common sense, and try to think. No one will know all these things. No, who will know about each and everything in the each and every part of the world? Is that possible? It is highly impossible. But UPSC will be checking like in that limited time, in that anxiety, in that tension, how you are working, how your brain is working. That will be tested. UPSC will not guess that, will not say you to remember each and every part of every continent, every country like that. So just in that stress, how your brain is working, whether you are taking the right action, right decision or not. That is the thing which mainly checked here. So here they are giving certain clues also. Southern, here north. So how it is possible? So like that, if you eliminate that, you can come to this 50-50%. Okay. So these are the important topics that happened in our today's Hindu newspaper. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much guys for watching, and please do like this class and share this class. And on every Saturday we are going to have a free Zoom session. To attend that session, please do register. Registration link is given in description box. And if you want to get this PDF of this class, you can join our Telegram channel. And you can follow us on our Instagram page where we are providing current affairs in short and as well as mains question with more answer and also prelims question with answer. Don't miss that, guys. Thank you.